Okay, so we're gonna continue with the article. This is a really cute dress right here. I absolutely love it. It says on September 4th, 2012, at the Democratic National Convention, the First Lady wore a custom made pink and gold silk dress by Tracy Reese. So I'm on page 6 of the article. Especially because Mrs. Obama not only wore their clothes, she also took their business seriously, framing fashion as a credible, covetable job choice during her education initiatives. She put fashion on a par with the movies by hosting a fashion education workshop at the White House, just as she had held a careers in film symposium. She invited students to witness Jason Wu donating her first inaugural gown to the Smithsonian, and designers were occasionally included on the guest list for state dinners alongside officials, artists, and executives, though no designer ever attended twice. She came in at a time when the economy was particularly tough and really shone a light on fashion in the broadest sense. And said Narciso Rodriguez, whose dress she wore on the night in 2008 that ushered in the Obama era, and recently at the National School Counselor of the Year event when she gave her last speech as First Lady. If you think that was an accident, there's a bridge I can sell you. Just as the fact she wore Jason Wu to her husband's farewell address in Chicago, a designer she also wore at both inaugural balls, was no coincidence. It was closure. On January 20th, 2009, she wore a one-shouldered white gown by designer Jason Wu at the neighborhood inaugural ball in Washington. Mrs. Obama's dress choices were often labeled sartorial diplomacy and democratic, and they were that. She made something of an art out of pairing designers with countries during state dinners or trips, wearing, for example, Mr. Khan, an Indian American designer, to the India state dinner, and Mr. Ford, an American designer then based in London, when she dined with Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace. Especially in her husband's second term, Mrs. Obama used leverage and visibility not only to raise the profile of a host of local designers. The biggest struggle for a young designer, Mr. Wu said, is attention. She solved that, but also as argument against isolationism and in support of allies across the world. It was not happenstance that she wore a Gucci gown to the Kennedy Center honors the same day Italy went to the polls to vote on a referendum widely viewed as a verdict on Matteo Renzi, the country's now former reformist prime minister. But above all, her wardrobe was representative of the country her husband wanted to lead. It was about the melting pot and the establishment, the 1% and the accessible. There was something in her closet for everyone, yet she was beholden to no designer, free of any specific allegiance to or association with a brand. She worked at a remove through her aide Meredith Coop, and no designers contacted for this article said they knew when the clothes she bought would be worn if they were for personal use. She did buy them, though often at a discount if they were for state occasions. They were donated by the designers and archived either at the National Archives or a museum. They were not told in advance, and they found out at the same time everyone else did. It was a business relationship, not a personal one. Will it continue? To a certain extent, both Samantha Cameron, the wife of the former British Prime Minister David Cameron, and the Duchess of Cambridge have taken a page from Mrs. Obama's wardrobe book. Swinging from high to low, working with a variety of London Fashion Week designers, and Sophie Gregoire Trudeau has done so in Canada. But according to Professor Yermak, who looked into the market response to both the Duchess of Cambridge and Carla Bruni Sarkozy when she was First Lady of France, they had nowhere near the same effect. It may be because the point of what Mrs. Obama wore was never simply that it was good to mix up your wardrobe among a group of designers, but rather that clothes were most resonant when they were an expression of commitment to an idea or an ideal that had resonance. And maybe it shouldn't really matter if anyone else in her position adopts the same approach. Each administration writes its own catechism after all. Whether we follow is up to us. So that is my article that I found online about Michelle Obama's fashion. What she wore and why she wore them. And I think this is a really cool article because I've been talking about the importance of fashion and the importance of accessories on Facebook, actually. And I had this accessories book that I'm not sure where I've placed, but it's here somewhere. And I think it's just a really, really cool article, and I highly suggest checking out Michelle Obama's fashion sense and, how nicely tailored she was, and the really cool kind of more cultural kind of fashion that she had. So yeah, that is it for my video. Thanks for watching. Bye.